what are the issues that HR professionals are facing today, globally and locally? And does culture play a big part on these issues?
So thank you for having me, Ian. I appreciate
You're
you taking
welcome.
this time out
Thank
and
you.
scheduling this interview. Um, I think culture plays a huge part. Let me start from there. Because in linear times, when change is incremental, culture is a huge asset. And for the last 40 or 50 years, we've had leaders, speak about how much they value an organization's culture, how they build culture proactively, and they protect that culture. But I'd like to remind us that in exponential times, in disruptive times, culture can be a liability too. Some parts of our culture can be a liability. They resist change, they slow us down, they create confusion. So I think it's very important that leaders now have a more nuanced view, have a more mature view of what parts of our culture will survive the digital transformation we see in industry over the next 10 or 15 years. When we go from purely physical and human workforces to a blend of internal, external, and automated workforces, what parts of our culture will survive this transformation and what part of our culture needs changing? And I think HR can be a great partner in this journey and should see itself as a partner in this journey. And I think the contribution HR sort of adds to this is deep diagnosis. Really asking some powerful questions, discovering the answers using data to create insight on the right questions is where HR needs to step up, I think, beyond the process-based HR work that we're quite good at.
Okay, and so how can talent economics solve these issues in culture?
So talent economics is all about outside-in analytics. Okay, if we look at strategic workforce planning, which sort of came up 20 or 30 years ago now, it's been around for a while. Strategic workforce planning tends to be inside out. We look at what our needs are, what our pain points are, our problems are, and then we look for solutions within, our hiring pools and our development agendas and so on and so forth. We try and build skills. Now that makes us grow in a reflection of ourselves. We don't change. We just improve a problem or solve a problem as we go along. Talent economics, on the other hand, being outside in, respects all these contextual changes, respects the fact that there are systemic talent pipeline issues. There are, need for rewiring the entire employment conversation, the entire employment contract.
Yeah.
If you look at young workers coming to work today, many of them say that they don't want the vanilla employment contract that most people in my generation have been used to. Everyone got almost the same employment terms, the same benefits, the same hours at work, the same kinds of facilities based on level and so on. And we grew up in that age, never questioned it. But today's talent is walking in saying they want a customized deal. And that customization would include their expectations of how much time they would spend, their expectations of how they work, the physical environments they'd like to work in. So we must respect these shifts. And talent economics studies these external shifts and brings that insight to the strategy table. How can we be more compelling employers? How can we plug our demand-supply issues by looking for innovative solutions?
Okay, so what is the main difference between talent management and talent economics?
Okay, that's a good question. Talent management is process-based. And the origins of the talent management agenda have been in HR. It's been an HR-led process, an HR-led agenda. And talent management tends to be about subsets of our talent pools. So, we look at a smaller segment, for example, high potential employees. We look at succession pools, senior talent being groomed for senior roles. We look at graduate programs. We look at certain diversity programs, such as grooming women leaders for senior roles and so on. Talent management tends to be quite limited and focused in its ambitions to these subsets of the overall talent pool. Talent economics, on the other hand, is very broad, it's very strategic.
Okay.
It focuses on capability as a whole. In talent economics, we define talent as any capability that can create economic value. It shouldn't matter where it sits. A lot of times, we create economic value through joint ventures. We create economic value through strategic outsourcing. We create economic value through partnerships with other organizations. Now, these are looked at as finance structures, or it's looked at as cost structures, they're looked at as vendor structures. But in reality, they're adding to the overall capability mix of the organization. So we look at talent in its broadest sense. Employees are a big part of it.
Right.
But so are externals. So are crowdsourcing, for example, which is a new sort of talent template that many organizations are using. So are relationships that we have with other institutions. All contribute to our capability mix.
Okay. All right. Now, what should HR professionals focus on and prioritize this year, specifically in talent management?
Okay. So I think the number one focus should be data. I keep saying that the future is about data, data, and data. And let me explain why I say this. The world is moving so fast that we have no experts on tomorrow. All that we have are experts on yesterday. And hence, it is the quality of data that tells us how trends are shifting, or how our solutions that may have worked in the past might not work in the future. It's by analyzing and building evidence-based viewpoints that we can succeed in the future. I think this is something HR needs to get better at. And our talent strategy agendas tend to be very programmatic because we're not necessarily building an evidence-based viewpoint. So that's the first area of focus. Focus on data, rich quality data, not just what we've done in the past, but great insight, aggregating, analyzing broader data sets to bring in new insights. The second thing is get familiar with automation. I think automation is one of the biggest shifts, constituent shifts in business over the last 100 years. It's already playing out ever since the first assembly line factory, in 1905, I think, when Henry Ford sort of invented the assembly line in some ways. We've been continuously automating. Every industry has reached a stage where automation is integral to their success. However, this has been dumb automation. It's basically been a dumb robot bolting a car door to the chassis. That's the level that we've achieved. The transformation in front of us is intelligent automation, is AI, is algorithmic intelligence, is artificial intelligence. So what is this new world of intelligent automation all about? And in about 10 or 15 years, we're going to start seeing the first real success stories emerge from a blended workforce. A workforce of intelligent robots and intelligent human beings working together, supplementing each other's strengths. And I think that's going to be the real challenge for HR to grapple with.
All right. Now, what separates the Certified Talent Economics program from other talent management courses?
I think talent management courses tend to be about improving process.
Mm-hmm.
Talent economics is about improving strategy,
Right.
Specifically talent strategy. Now let's think about a couple of reasons why it's very compelling. The first one is we spend billions of dollars on people, right? Most organizations would say that the people expenses, be it payroll, other discretionary people expenses, and so on, all clubbed together, form a significant part of their profit and loss statements. What are we spending this money on? Are we spending it the same way we spent it 10 years ago? That's quite dangerous if we haven't transformed our capability agenda.
Right.
The other point I like to make is that we're now buying capability in different ways. Outsourcing expenses, for example, are also capability expenses. When you outsource a process, are you getting the best value from that outsourcing relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Are you building true partnerships which are evolutionary rather than static and contract based. So all of this forms part of the talent economics impact. We're trying to improve an organization's capability strategy, be that capability internal, external, or the network, the broader network we operate in as an organization.
Okay. So, based on your experience, what is the success rate of implementing talent economics by companies who, let's say, have been using traditional talent management strategies?
So talent economics is about data and is about a set of tools and frameworks that help improve or mature talent strategy conversations. Most talent economists who go through the program tell me that they can immediately apply it. They can take it back and use it to raise the level of the boardroom conversation on talent and capability. Now that's very reassuring, because what it means is it's added a dimension to their toolkit. It's added a dimension to their worldview in terms of what they can contribute and how they can help their organization. In terms of application, it's very simple. What we ask organizations through the talent economics research is that will one-size solutions work across various different business contexts? You sometimes cross a border and the entire business context changes. But in the past, we've used one-size-fits-all solutions to meet all our needs. So we question that. The only way to question that is through diagnosis. If the context changes and the diagnosis shows you that we're operating in a radically different context, then the solutions must be customized, or in some cases designed from scratch.
Will the CTE course also be beneficial to small, medium enterprises with about, say, less than 100 employees in their company?
So talent economics is a philosophy. It can apply to business anywhere. So of course it benefits the large organizations because they spend millions and billions of dollars on people. And even a marginal improvement can be quite significant, both in impact as well as in cost saved. But if you look at it from the SME perspective, there are 2 or 3 reasons why talent economics makes sense for them too. Number one, they're small, they're nimble. They can make even small changes have a big impact on their overall bottom line or their ability to grow, their ability to compete. Many small business owners don't realize how powerful they are. They may have few employees, but they have other ways of sourcing capability which don't add overhead. So that's where talent economics can help them. They can actually punch well above their weight. And I think the best example I'd like to give you is the internet startups we see today. They're all SMEs. They're all 100, 200, 300 employees. But look at the impact they make. Look at their brand value. Look at the way they're transforming industries. Purely because they understand the talent economics of distributed capability. They understand how you don't have to own talent anymore in order to access skills. You don't have to own talent anymore in order to bring new capability and transformational capability to the table.
Right. So, lastly, will previous attendees of CTE still benefit from attending this course now?
Yeah. So, it's a great question, because talent economics is a lifelong journey, right? Even for me, I've spent 7 years now researching talent economics almost on a daily basis, and I'm diving deeper, digging deeper into the ground, trying to create fresh insight, and I find that it's almost limitless in terms of what we can learn in this subject. So I think while talent economists are quite well equipped for an organization's current talent agenda, what we do in this new program, the Advanced Talent Economics program, is look at the world of digital capability. We look at the world 10 or 15 years hence. We look at how robotics, how intelligent automation, how virtual reality and augmented reality, and some of these new mechanized capabilities will alter an organization's talent agenda. We look at disruptive innovators. We look at industry disruption. And if your competitor no longer looks like you, how do you respond? So it's for the world that is emerging, I think, in some ways. It's quite different from the traditional talent economics course, which is still very powerful, very valuable, and looks at, let's say, the $1 million we spend on people or the $1 billion we spend on people today.
Yeah.
The new course looks at what should we be spending on to transform our business for tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much. And well, that's it for today. Thanks for taking your time to be with us today.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.
Thank you.